Hey, lighten up, jerk!
Broader question. I didn't quite get it yet. Why Chinatown? Why? Even at the end, remember? What was the last line?
It's like,
this is Chinatown.
It's like, forget it, Jake.
Yeah,
Forget it, Jake. It's
why?
China.
What does that mean?
I think that is great because it was so profound.
Yeah, I mean the movie is called Chinatown.
Well, there's
there's a little bit of history because Jake used to be a police officer and his beat was Chinatown.
with one of the other detectives.
Yeah, with the
that
detective that was like kind of like that kind of.
Did I miss that? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did they
It's
talk about that?
it's very
it's very like subtle. It's like very quick. Like it's like a line of dialogue. And if you don't catch it, then you
very
can
subtle.
Gotcha.
Very subtle.
Is it also because downtown LA at the time when LA was burgeoning, it wasn't downtown because there was really no LA. It was just Chinatown. Like that's where City Hall is now. It's right at the cusp of Chinatown.
Right.
Do you think that's what they're kind of talking about? The corruption or the core of the city happened right there.
I think that's kind of what they're trying to go for. And it's always very subtly mentioned.
Yeah.
And there's always kind of this era of like, ooh, I do. It's like there's this. When they talk about Chinatown, there's a lot of disdain for it. And Jake does everything he can to stay away from it. Yeah. And you can almost kind of see because there are some Chinese characters throughout the film.
Yeah.
Like
and
this is like the Mulrays, like the
butlers
house,
and stuff like that.
The servants.
The butler who was actually Lopan and Big Trouble in Little China.
James Hong.
Yeah, James Hong.
But there's a slight disdain for the Chinese from Jake.
Even the way he treats that pool man guy, right?
Well, there's a little slight, which is kind of funny. It's like where it says saltwater bad for. He thinks that he's saying bad for glass.
Glass.
But he's like talking. It's like it's bad for the grass.
Yeah.
And Jake thinks he's talking about it's bad for glass.
Yeah.
Which actually becomes like an important point because of the thing is his disdain and kind of deflect thinking like whatever, I'm not going to listen to you. But actually that line was very important. That would have helped him solve some of the mystery very early on had he been not had that disdain for Chinese or Chinatown.
Right. He was almost contemptuous of the Chinese people, right? Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
So, and it's kind of, and we don't know what he dealt with there either. That's kind of the mystery.
Yeah, because during during the film, there's always this kind of allusion to a past that he had in Chinatown, something maybe something went down, or something bad happened on his beat, right? And he was forced to keep quiet about it, or maybe that's why he even quit the force.
And it's like why he became a private detective instead.
Right.
And so, but I think it was also poignant, like that last line, like forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown.
It's Chinatown.
It's because maybe because they were they're the minorities in the city, and so kind of like the stereotype, the minorities don't talk to cops, and so even if Jake because I think Jake really sincerely thought that they were able to get justice, and Noah Cross was going to go to jail, and this corruption with the water was going to be brought into the sunlight, but and Mrs. Mulray would have justice, but given the surroundings where they were, it's like none of that's going to happen. Even the cop Escobar is like, just let him go, just let them all go. Because this whole scene is like radioactive. No one wants to be around 10-foot pool, right? No one wants to touch it with a 10-foot pool, and because that they're in Chinatown, because they're in a minority neighborhood where they have a distrust for the police, no one's going to talk to them, no one's going to sell them what's up.
That's true. And
so that last line's like, forget it, it's Chinatown.
There's sort of the Chinatown, not just LA Chinatown, but Chinatowns in general. There's a sort of not a lawlessness, but rules don't necessarily apply the same way that it does the rest of the city.
Or there's also an internal system of government.
Absolutely.
System of government. Not even though it's in Los Angeles, even though it's in the United States, there's a community law. There's a community law. There's a community council. There's there's
almost its own micro economy. In Chinatown as well. I think there was a study years ago. They put $1. They marked $1. Put it into, I think, New York Chinatown, and it didn't circulate out of Chinatown for years It just stayed in Chinatown.
Exactly. Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of an allusion to that as well. The nature of a Chinatown. Yeah.